They worked in it, they fought in it. They developed great skills for navigating their waters and the spirit to traverse even the few large gaps that separated their island groups. Articulated nearly 30 years ago, this was a fresh, powerful and contemporary vision, and indeed a post-colonial perspective, an optimistic one that conceived a Pacific shaped by islanders themselves. Yet it was also a vision that some of the first Europeans to spend time in this sea of islands would have recognized. Among the earliest observers of any Pacific society to live among people, rather than just interact with them in the course of an expedition, was the bounty mutineer James Morrison, who spent the better part of 2 years in Tahiti before being captured and taken back to England. If this imprisonment at first on the voyage home and then in England was no doubt miserable, and the prospect of the death penalty terrifying, it's fortunate for posterity that he was taken into custody, since he prepared an insightful early report of Polynesian life, as well as a detailed account of the experience of the voyage and the mutiny, which helped him win a pardon. With respect to islanders' customary travel by sea, he wrote that, "It may seem strange to European navigators how these people find their way to such a distance without the help or knowledge of letters, figures, or instruments of any kind, but their judgment and their knowledge of the motion of heavenly bodies, at which they are more expert and can give a better account of the stars which rise and set in their horizons than a European astronomer would be willing to believe, which is nevertheless a fact that they can with amazing sagacity foretell by the appearance of the heavens with great precision when a change of the weather will take place and prepare for it accordingly. When they go to sea, they steer by the sun, moon, and stars, and shape their course with some degree of exactness." The earliest foreign visitors to the Pacific were astounded and perplexed by the presence of people on islands thousands of kilometers from continents. As well they might have been, over the millennia of human history. Our species has been largely, indeed overwhelmingly, content-based. James Cook and his naturalists and companions asked, who were these people? From where did they come? How were they able to reach islands dispersed over such vast tracts of ocean? These questions have been asked ever since, at first by the more curious among mariners, naval men and missionaries, and subsequently by folklorists, linguists, anthropologists, and archaeologists. From a surprisingly early date, some of these scholars were islanders themselves. Over recent decades, there has been a decisive sea change in the academic field. Questions of how, when, and why voyages were undertaken have been considered not only in the university seminar rooms in North America, Europe, Australia, and New Zealand, but also in community settings and through conversation in which scholars and practitioners, master navigators such as Larry Ragatal, of Indigenous heritage, have become increasingly prominent. New research, driven by a bewildering range of advanced techniques in genetics, linguistics, archaeology, and studies of past climates, among other fields, have generated fresh understandings. The many resulting publications include magisterial archaeological syntheses such as Matthew Spriggs' The Island Melanesians, 1997, and Patrick Kirch's On the Road of the Winds, 2017. Voyagers does not attempt the deep but unavoidably technical review of carbon dates and similar data that such studies provide. Instead, it offers an overview of chapters in human history that are unlike humanity's collective experience in any other part of the world. Voyagers is about a civilization that has seldom been recognized as such, that of Oceania. It addresses questions that have long been debated. Who? From where? How? But is also concerned with the new meanings that these old questions have now. What was it, and what is it, to be an islander? Chapter 1. The Same Nation, Theories and Myths of Pacific Settlement. For over 250 years, Europeans knew of the Pacific, but knew nothing about it at all. In September 1513, the Spanish conquistador Vasco Núñez del Balboa crossed the Isthmus of Panama, sighting the sea from high ground. Struggling through jungle and killing indigenous peoples along the way, he and his